going to be taking you through a connected vehicle demonstration. And are you guys familiar with connected vehicles?
Heard very little.
Yeah,
Heard very
very
little. So what we're going to be taking you through are vehicles wirelessly communicating with one another. And if there's a possible threat, the vehicle will provide a warning to the driver, telling the driver to avoid the possible threat. A lot of the demonstration, I'm going to do some explaining on the screens behind you. So, take a look at the screens and then you'll be experiencing the demonstration. So these three vehicles are all equipped with the same type of technology. It has, can you pull behind the black Fiesta? It has an advanced Wi-Fi communication called dedicated short-range communication. So basically we use GPS information that we pull down from the satellites and broadcast a wireless message 10 times per second, 300 meters out, 360 degrees around our car. If you look at the black Fiesta in front of us, there's an antenna right on top. That's a special antenna. That's that Wi-Fi, advanced Wi-Fi antenna, along with the GPS antenna that we use to run you through all the scenarios that we're going to show you today. If I can bring your attention to the screen, on the screen, we pull information off the sensors, we pull information off the CAN as well as the GPS to start to form this wireless message. On the grid we have three vehicles that are currently broadcasting. I'll double click on the first vehicle just to show you the information that we're broadcasting 10 times per second. We're broadcasting latitude, longitude, how fast you're traveling, are you accelerating or decelerating. All three vehicles are communicating the same language in order to take you through the various demonstrations we're going to take you through today. And it's very important that everybody talks the same language. We pull all that information together and we start to classify a vehicle. Is the vehicle directly in front of us? Is it behind us? Is it to the left of us? To the right of us? We want to know when a vehicle is in close proximity to us and when those vehicles could be a possible threat. If a vehicle is way out here on the oncoming far left, we probably don't need to pay as close attention to it until it starts becoming in a possible threat area. So now we're going to take you through several different scenarios, and a lot of these scenarios will probably be pretty easy for you to imagine because you've experienced most of these scenarios. The first one being emergency electronic braking. So imagine, if you will, you're traveling down the road and it's rush hour traffic. A vehicle 2 cars in front of you slams on the brakes. The vehicle directly in front of you slams on the brakes, and you traditionally respond when you see the brake lights of the vehicle in front of you. With this type of technology, the driver receives a warning when that first car brakes very hard, 2 ways. Through a red heads-up display, which is really, really similar to the forward collision warning display, along with a loud audio. So with that,
And 3, 2, 1.
the blue car would be the car that brakes hard, and you'll be able to get a warning even before you see the brake lights of the black car in front of you. And the driver had ample time in order to stop the vehicle. Now, we at Ford have tough customers, so as you guys know that probably better than I do. So the next scenario we're going to take you through is what we call target classification. One of the things we're concerned about when we're designing the system is we do not want to overwarn the driver or warn the driver when there's a vehicle that's not even a threat to us. Up there on the left is a vehicle that's parked in the lane next to us, and what we're going to demonstrate is that we can just drive right by that vehicle without giving the driver any type of warning.
And 3, 2, 1.
And you'll see the boxes move around the screen as we pass the vehicle from ahead left to behind left, depending on where the vehicle is at that time. Now the next thing, are you guys familiar with blind spot warning?
Yes.
Okay, so traditional blind spot warning happened with sensors on the vehicle. With this vehicle, it's not equipped with that type of technology. What you're going to?
This is the cutout.
Oh, you should have told me. I was saying the wrong scenario. Okay, hold off on that thought. The next scenario we're going to take you through is a scenario that's happened to me several times. Imagine, if you will, there's a car broken down in your lane. That blue car way up there is a car that's going to be broken down in our lane. The black car will swerve out of the way at the last minute, And traditionally you stop when you see the vehicle that's broken down in your lane. With this type of technology, the driver is able to get a message and a warning even before the black car swerves out of the way that there's some type of a threat in our lane.
And 3, 2, 1. And good.
Okay, blind spot. Remember everything I said about blind spot?
Right.
Well, hopefully you remembered it. Again, on this vehicle, it's all that wireless communication we're able to use to determine when a vehicle's in our blind spot or not. But since we're communicating speed and position, we're able to do a couple other things with it. So imagine, if you will, you're traveling down a road and there's a motorcycle in the lane next to you, traveling at a high rate of speed. You put your blinker on to get into the lane next to you, and hopefully you see that motorcycle in that lane. With this type of technology, because one of the things we're broadcasting is speed and location, we're able to know that a vehicle's coming at a high rate of speed, and we're able to know if we try to get into that lane that there could be a possible collision, and we're going to provide a warning to the driver, telling the driver to avoid the imminent threat.
And 3, 2, 1.
So on your screen, you'll see a couple of things happen. When we detect the vehicle, this box goes to green, and when he's in our zone, to yellow, and then with our blinker on, red. And since he's in our zone, if you look in the outside mirror, you see the traditional blind spot light on. That's in the traditional vehicles, or the vehicles that we have in production today.
I know Ford, they're going to equip them in the future in all the cars, but what about other makes and models and things like that?
That's a great question. Ford is working with 7 other OEMs, so there's 8 OEMs total working on the technical side, and there's 9 OEMs working together on the policy side in conjunction with the US DOT to try to make this happen, because we all need to be talking that same language. You know, Ford, we don't sell enough vehicles on the road to, get,
But we're trying.
we're trying, the 13 million that they expect per year. So this is all manufacturers working together in a joint cooperation. And as you can imagine, it's been challenging getting us all to agree on what that common data set has been. The other challenging part are a lot of the policy issues, and that's what we're working on as well with the DOT. The next scenario we're going to take you through is a traditional Ford collision warning scenario. Thanks, Bob. So imagine, if you will, you just got off work on Friday night and you have a date with your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever, and you're in a hurry to get somewhere. So the vehicle directly in front of you is not so much of a hurry, and they're traveling at a much slower rate of speed. You're going to come up on that vehicle at a high rate of speed and receive a warning in the 2 ways that you've previously experienced.
And 3, 2, 1.
On your screen, you'll see a warning triangle happen. It'll be a yellow warning when it's a possible threat, and a red warning where it's a potential threat, imminent threat.
Good.
Now, a lot of the scenarios we've taken you through already are scenarios where threats happen in our lane. The next scenario we want to show you is if there's an imminent threat coming in the opposite direction and you try to get into that lane, the driver will still receive a warning. So imagine, if you will, you're traveling down a country road and you're stuck behind a tractor, and you've been behind that tractor for a very long time. At the earliest opportunity, you want to get around that tractor. Hopefully when you do, and you put your blinker on and coming into opposite traffic, you see the vehicle coming in the opposite direction and avoid the possible threat. With this technology, you not only get a warning when a potential collision happens in your lane, but when one could possibly happen in coming in the opposite direction.
And 3, 2, 1.
Now, we have 2 final scenarios to take you guys through, and I think these 2 scenarios are the most compelling. And what I think sells this technology is it's able to see things where your eyes traditionally cannot see. And that's the biggest difference between this type of technology and your traditional forward collision warning, which has a cone that you can see out. So imagine, if you will, you're in a parking lot and you want to pull out into traffic. You can't see the traffic coming in the opposite direction because your vision's blocked by, here we have a truck, but it's easy to imagine a building, a tree. For some reason, you can't see the vehicle coming in the opposite direction. With this type of technology, we're going to creep out into traffic and receive a warning when there's a possible threat with oncoming traffic.
And 3, 2, 1. And good.
Now, our final scenario, I've had a few people scream at. I promise you the guys in the car before you did not scream.
I'll bet they did.
No, they didn't. Well, you can bring that up with them later.
I
If you scream,
guarantee
it's going to be on tape.
I guarantee the bald-headed one screamed.
It's going to be all over YouTube.
All over YouTube. So imagine, if you will, you're coming up to an intersection and you have the right of way. What you can't see because something's blocking your vision, here we have a truck, you can imagine a bus, something is blocking your way and you can't see the vehicle coming in the opposite direction. And that vehicle is going to go right through the red light and right through that intersection. And again, what I think sells this technology is the vehicle can sense things that you traditionally cannot see and provide warnings to the driver to avoid the possible threat.
And 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God!
Excellent.
So that concludes our demonstration. Do you guys have any questions?
Where's the bathroom?
There's
That was a joke.
okay. Well, I've received that one before, so